Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. It's Lovey. Hi, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I have a good video for you guys today. I am going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew about finances or money in my 20s. Guys, this is such an important topic for me because I have actually been on a journey, I'm going to say for the last 10 years, really aggressively trying to turn my finances around. And I've been sharing and sharing and sharing with all my friends and family, all the things that I'm learning as I go along. And that's one of the things that I would like to do here on this channel is to talk about money. So, before I get started, my name is Lovey. Welcome to my channel. My grandchildren call me I can't get it out. My grandchildren call me Lovey, hence the name of my channel, Listen to Lovey. And there they are. Ooh, right there. That's my little granddaughter, Kinsley, and my bonus grandson, Kingston. We were at the water park. So anyway, let's jump right into the video because I got to get to work. Okay. 5 things I wish I knew in my 20s. First one is, let me just give you a run through what's in store for you. Financial education, the importance of financial education is more important than traditional education. You really got to know about your money, okay? The second one is, what is compound interest? For a long time, I could never figure that out. When I would hear that years ago, compound interest, how does that work? But anyway, you need to know because it's very important. Prepare for retirement as soon as possible. You don't wait until it's getting close to retirement for you to start thinking about it. Preparing for retirement is a lifelong career thing that you need to be working on because there's no guarantee that you're going to inherit anything of significant amount that's going to take care of you. And there's no guarantee that you're going to have a husband that's going to help take care of you in your retirement. Opening up some type of investment account, whether that's a Roth IRA, a mutual fund, or maybe even potentially a high yield savings account, something that's going to make you more money than just a traditional savings account. And last but not least, number 5, you got to know your numbers, aka budget, spending plan, whatever you want to call it. Call it bubble gum if you want to, but you got to know your numbers. So let's get into it. Back to number 1, financial education. It's more important than traditional education. You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't have any knowledge of how money works, it's not going to do you no good. Because as soon as that money comes in, potentially you're going to spend it right back out. An example of someone who's you can be making $100,000 a year and you could be making $10,000 a year, but living paycheck to paycheck, it wouldn't matter. Because as soon as your money comes in, you turn around and spend it right back out on bills, on consumer debt, on eating out, having a car, a luxury car that you potentially can't even afford, just all types of things that we can spend our money on. Another way that financial education, the reason why it's important and we need to know is that when it's time to retire, we can't retire because we hadn't thought about it. And I'm going to get more into that later. But you got to prepare for that early, sooner rather than later. And the last thing is when it's time to, if you have an emergency of some sort, you blow out a tire, you now need a tire, and you do not have any money to replace that tire. God forbid you need a whole new set of tires. So financial education helps you to think about all of these things, not just in the moment, but in the future, and being proactive instead of reactive is what I'm really trying to say. The second thing is, what is compound interest? Compound interest is when you put your money into some type of investment account you are compounding not only on the money, you're compounding or making interest, not only on the money that you initially put in, but on the interest that you made. And let me give you just a very basic, simple example of this. Say you put $100 into you could even buy a stock, or you bought an ETF and you put $100 in, and you didn't put any more money in, just that $100, and you got a 10% return on it. By the end of the year, you now have $110. Well, next year, when it's time to get your return, it's still the same 10%. You're now not only getting 10% on that $100 that you initially put in, you're now getting 10% on the $110. Does that make sense? And I'm not going to go into a whole explanation of it, because I do plan to do a separate video on each one of these 5 things I wish I knew in my 20s, because I do believe that they all deserve a separate video to go into more details, because it's not just real simple. It's some nuances to it to help you to better understand, so that we can grasp it. It's taken me years to figure all of this out, and I know just this little quick snippet is not enough. So I do plan to go into more details later. But for the purpose of this video, just giving you some quick thoughts on my thinking on what I wish I knew when I was 20 years old, or in my 20s, about money. Number 3, prepare for retirement as soon as possible. You got to think about your lifestyle in the future, because what you have going on today while you're working and bringing in an income is not going to be the same lifestyle when you retire in your 60s and 70s, or whenever you retire. Because why? You're not bringing in that same amount of money. Now, unless you have significantly saved and actually prepared for retirement, you will not have the same amount of money every month. And then you have to remember, any monies that you have saved, and if you're not contributing to it any longer, or you don't have it in some type of investment vehicle that is continuing to make you money, increasing in value, giving you a specific rate of return, you're constantly taking money out and you're not replacing it. Eventually that's going to run out. So you got to start thinking about retirement sooner. As soon as you really get that big boy job, a big girl job, you got to start thinking about it and planning for your future. Because if you don't, and you look up, you in your mid 50s like me, you're like, oh. Yeah. I don't think I can retire early. I may have to keep working. Lucky for me, I didn't start back in my 20s. I did, and then I dropped it, and then I didn't pick it back up until my 40s, if I'm being honest. But I have been aggressively working on that. So I'm not in that bad a shape, but I could have been so much further along. So I am sharing constantly with family and friends. I got a niece who graduated from LPN school last year. That's a licensed practical nurse. I myself am a licensed practical nurse. That's my first career. I've since pivoted out of that. That's part-time now. But I've been trying to encourage her. Please join your 401k at your job. And if you can, which I know you can, start off now putting 10% over there. Because if the more you put over there and you learn to live off a smaller amount, then you're not really, and you just keep doing that. If she can start doing 10% now in her early 20s, she'll be set and be ready to retire sooner than most of us out here. But anyway, let me get off of that. And I think I said that you want to kind of pre-calculate how much money you want to spend every year in retirement. That's going to determine how much money you need to have saved in retirement. Because if you're just counting on Social Security, if you didn't know this or not, Social Security is not your check, boo-boo. It's not. It drops significantly. And there's some crazy formula out there that determines how much your Social Security is going to be. But it's not what you think. So that's why you have to prepare for it on the other side on your own. Investing in your 401k through work. If you're not doing that, you're leaving money on the table. Most employers these days are matching at a minimum 4%. Some go all the way up to 100%. I think those employers are few and far in between, but at least 4%, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, it just varies. You need to get with your employer. Find out, are you eligible for to participate in the 401k or 403b or whatever mechanism that they have available to you, that they are in, that they're matching. Even if they don't match, you still need to participate. But especially if they're matching, because you're just leaving money on the table. You're just leaving money on the table. So 4% of your income. I'm sorry, here's somebody calling. 4% of your income taken off the top of your bi-weekly paycheck, and then they put that same amount over to the side. Why wouldn't you do it? Number 4, opening up an individual account, an IRA, a Roth IRA, a mutual fund, a high yield savings account. You got to start saving on your own post-tax. The 401k, the 403b, all of those things through your employer is before taxes. So that money gets taken out of your check. It's not taxed, but when you get ready to withdraw it, it will be taxed. A Roth is something that is an account, even high yield savings account, and I'm thinking mutual funds. So anything that you invest once you get your paycheck, those accounts are not taxed because you've already paid taxes on that money. And especially with a Roth IRA, you do not pay taxes on the gains at all. So when you get ready to withdraw that money, I think right now it's at 59.5, or you've had to have your account at least 5 years, you don't pay taxes. But if you try to withdraw before those terms are met, you could be hit with some type of penalty. We need to learn about the different types of investment opportunities that are out there in the stock market. You've got ETFs, you've got bonds, you've got individual stocks. We can't afford to let our money just sit in a traditional savings account that's paying you pennies every year to use your money to loan out to people, or probably to put it into these investments accounts I'm talking to you about and making money off your money. We just can't afford it. You can't afford to keep your money under the mattress or in a traditional savings account, because think about this. When they tell you that if you're not investing your money, you're losing money. And this is why that is true. The cost of eggs 5 years ago is not the same as the cost of eggs this year. So if you saved $100,000, let's say even $500,000, and you don't invest it in anything, you got it sitting in the mattress, under the mattress, or you got it in a traditional savings account making some pennies every year. When it comes time 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, to start pulling from that money, what you could buy the carton of eggs for 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it don't cost the same. It's considerably more. Same as gas. Even utilities have gone up. I've heard so many people, including myself, complaining about how much electricity is now. And with this AI stuff and these data centers popping up everywhere, they're drawing off of the common people's electric grid right now. I hope that gets worked out. I'm not going to talk about politics to get into that, but I think that relates to some of why our electric bills are high. Same with the water bill. They need water to cool off those data centers. So, yeah, the money that you had 5 years ago doesn't spend the same 5 years in advance or 5 years ahead, because everything is constantly going up. So if that money that you've got sitting over here is not making anything, you're losing, because You now show up with what you thought was going to cost you $100. It's now $120 because of inflation, and you can't afford it. So last but definitely not least, you got to know your numbers, aka budget, spending plan. It doesn't matter what you call it. Like I said at the beginning, you can call it bubblegum plan. But you got to know your numbers. You got to know how much money you're bringing in and how much money you're spending out. And you need a gap in between those two. This is free money that's in between the gap. And if this is right here or here, you're going to have a hard time saving. You're not going to feel like you can invest in a Roth IRA or open up any type of account with a brokerage firm. You're not going to feel like you can contribute to your 401k at work. You're not going to feel like you can save and just have something liquid for an emergency, because you don't have that gap. You don't have a buffer. You got to know what you're bringing in, and you got to know what you're spending out, and you need a gap in between there. And one of the ways to figure that out is to create a budget, a spending plan, or bubblegum plan. You got to figure it out. You got to know your numbers. That's going to keep you on track with your saving plan for retirement, your saving plan for emergencies, your saving plan for travel, your saving plan for Christmas, birthdays, just whatever. You want to plan for all of that. You don't want to wait until the month of to try to decide, oh, it's Christmas. I guess I'm going to have to wait till my next paycheck and then I can, go out Christmas shopping. When you already know that check is slotted for rent. And now you got to call, or your mortgage company. Now you're trying to make arrangements. We just don't want to get into that. If we can think about our numbers and create a spending plan, that's just going to be put us in a much better position. So yeah, guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope you learned something. I hope you were slightly entertained. I hope you feel slightly empowered to go out here and look at your numbers, figure out ways that you can create that buffer there so that you can have some room to invest and save money. Yeah, the 5 things I wish I knew in my 20s. I just want you to know that even though I was introduced to all of this at some point. And in my 20s, I knew maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of them, but I didn't know the importance and I didn't take any of them seriously. The sooner you can learn this and take it all seriously and work on it, the easier it's going to be for you to be ready for retirement. Who wants to work until they're in their late 60s and early 70s? When do you get to enjoy life in a reasonable time frame? We've got, at my age, in 56, I've got more years behind me than I do in front of me. I want to be in fairly good health like I am now to still be able to enjoy life. I don't want to get to my late 60s, early 70s, and now I got health conditions that may pop up on me. And now all this, the travel or whatever it is I wanted to do, I can no longer do it. I don't want to wait to hang out with my grandkids. I want to be able to do that now and enjoy them now, and they enjoy me while I'm up and able to get around, So yeah. I hope you learned something today, found it interesting, and like I said, please subscribe, share the video, comment. Can you tell me 1 to 3 things that you wish you knew in your 20s when it comes to money? 1 to 3 things that you wish you knew in your 20s about money. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye for now. Hey, beautiful people. I just wanted to pop back on here right quick and say that at the end of this video, I'm going to show you one of my saving tools that I used. I purchased an adult piggy bank last year. Yeah, it was last year. I think it was the first year I did. And let me show you what it looks like. This is one of them. I have 3. I just started back saving, and as you can see, there's only one little slit here, and that's the slit to put money in. And last year, I used that bank to save for my trip to Las Vegas for this year. For those of you who are Greek out there and you know about these conferences that we have every year, you know it can be expensive. I am a member of the illustrious Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and we had our boule this past July in Las Vegas. So my box that I saved for not quite a whole year, and I wasn't as consistent as I could have been, but I was consistent enough. It allowed me to save enough money to cover my hotel, my registration for the conference, my flight, and my food. I may have had to come out of a maybe $80+ out of my own pocket. But yeah, I was able to save that much. So this year, I bought 3 boxes. One for, we have our regional conference that will be next year. Also, leadership is going to be next year. Leadership and boule is biannually, so boule was this year, next year is going to be leadership. And then I'm also now starting to save for boule, that's 2 years away. But it's just going to make the savings easier for me. Because again, like I said, I don't really like to save money. So in order for me to really get into it, if it's not automated, I need to make it fun. And so this is just one of the fun ways that I am saving money, is with these adult piggy banks. I just ordered them off of Amazon. This one is clear. I have a clear pink one, and I have a solid pink one. Last year I had the solid pink, but I thought it would be fun this year to have a clear one, just so I can see the money and see how it's building up. So I encourage you, anyone, if you are struggling to save, and even if you just want to save for a particular goal, whether that be Christmas, for your birthday, for a vacation, you know that if you put it in the bank right now, you're new to saving, and you know that if you see it, you're going to touch it. Get you one of these. Get you one of these banks so that you can put the money in, and hopefully you don't crack it open. That's the only way you're going to be able to get into this, is you're going to have to bust it open to get in it. But give yourself some significant amount of time to save, so that when you bust it open, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I'm going to attach some pictures at the end of this video of my box from last year. So again, until next time, take care.